Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. The final week of Major 1 is in the books. It was a surprising week to say the least. I am joined by some other Call of Duty legends and eggs. Of course, guys, how are you doing this week? Before we get into anything, I just want to know, how was your guys' week?
My week was pretty good. Overall, I'd say it was a pretty good week. I have no complaints.
How was Challengers, Doug? Did you play?
Yeah, it was not a good week in Challengers, but it was a good week overall.
Sounds like a common theme for Doug.
What about you, Chris?
Unfortunately, it was an okay weekend or week. Sorry, I don't even know what day of the week it is anymore. Sorry, but I've been playing a little too many MMOs, but I've been just kind of looking forward to watching the COD matches. Even though I don't play anymore, it's still fun to actually watch and see how the teams do every week. So
it's a good week. It was a good week. Pat, what about yourself?
I mean, you know me, Ian. I'm a full-time working man now. But no, it was a good week. It was a busy one. And then yeah, we got into some COD games on Friday, and there were some pretty good watches. So yeah, pretty good overall.
I love it. It was pretty good for me as well. And look, there's going to be a lot to talk about today. Obviously, it was a shocking series of events. I feel like this week. A lot of teams did really well. Teams did poorly. We're going to talk about the tiebreakers, all that. But before we get into it, I want to pick a couple. Well, we all can. We can pick a couple comments from the viewers that have been watching. They've been showing crazy amounts of love. So we want to shout them out and answer some of the questions that they want to get answered, I guess. Look, it's late, okay, for me. So I'm stumbling over my words. But, Pat, this question is for you, okay?
All right.
I have the first one that I pulled up. It is from somebody named Enables Burner, and it says, "Why is Ake so trash, and why did he weigh Enable down in his Call of Duty career?"
So yeah, that was Enables Burner. But yeah, I think I elevated Ian to a new level. When you really look back at Ian's Call of Duty career, he was on
okay,
Curse
that's enough. We can get to the real list.
And then I picked him up, and then wow, his trajectory for his career was just up and up as soon as he got, graced enough to play with me. So yeah, I think I did him a really, really good service in that regard.
If I knew you were going to take that the other way, I wouldn't even ask it. But no, seriously.
It's all good.
Seriously, this goes for everyone. The first question, it's from Christopher Lee Ruiz, and he asked us, how would the OpTic Dynasty or Cold Dynasty fare in today's era of COD, in their prime?
Are we talking Vanguard or like the sliding like BO4 and Modern Warfare, all Cold War, or just Vanguard? That's kind of like a.
I guess just a sliding mechanic, right?
Okay.
Because he says today's era. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'll tell you what, boy. If it was Cold War, they might have, in their prime, they might have been really good. Because Cold War was practically Black Ops 2
maps.
Right?
Cold War was
Black Ops 2 maps. It was close. Not bad. You got a little raid in there, standoff in there.
But to that point though, the OpTic Dynasty, I don't think they would do well. That was strictly jetpacks, right? Strictly jetpackers. I don't know if they're faring well on the ground. So
true.
There's really no telling. But I think kind of aside from Modern Warfare and Vanguard, yeah, like to Chris's point, I think Cold War and even maybe BO4, granted it was 5v5, I think there would have been success there. Obviously, because we're talking about being in our prime, right? Like those players, all these players in our prime.
BO4.
Yeah, BO4.
Y'all would have got slapped. So you already got hit by one slide cancel and broke your thumbsticks.
He would have been T-walking around the map.
T would have been T-walking.
Wait. Did you see what Enable was doing on 100 Thieves? You telling me T couldn't have done that?
Bro,
with the sauce?
Don't compare yourself to 100 Thieves.
Wait,
bro,
with the sauce? Yeah, you're right. We would have been on another level than 100 Thieves.
It would have been barbecue chicken.
I think, because we would have probably had Clay and Damon, so we would have smoked 100 Thieves.
Y'all would have played Dylan Codd and literally just got put in a blender just by that one guy.
We would have vetoed frequency. Legend. We would have vetoed frequency every time.
Dylan Codd, BO4 legend.
Hacienda, Arsenal. I don't remember all the maps, but yeah, we would have had the standard rotation.
All right. Well, before Pat continues on capping, clearly, we're gonna go on to the next question. This question is by Circuits Made Easy. He said, "This is an awesome podcast. A cool content idea could be having these four scrim a pro team for the fun of it. Who are you boys beating in a best of 5?"
Hell no.
I'm not answering this.
We're not beating anybody. I promise, man, we are not being. I just got to Atlanta FaZe 3 days ago. I promise. Like Haggie's been playing. He obviously recently retired, but Ian and Pat, like you guys were talking about rank play.
Wait, hold on.
Wait,
hold on.
Doug.
What?
If we had give us 2 weeks of practice, you don't think we could take? You don't think we could take anybody?
If we grind, okay, if this 4 right here grinded the game from the beginning, then yeah, I definitely think we could beat pro teams.
Hey, hold on.
Okay.
You guys are forgetting something. We have the look at Pat. We have the OpTic killer. Literally.
Yeah, hey, yeah, we
with
might
us
take
right
OpTic
now.
Texas
Wait,
down
wait,
right now.
wait a minute.
hop on.
Wait. No, think about it. Us
Hold
three, me, you, and Pat smoked OpTic and AW, bro. And they were nasty at that game.
You gotta think that's
that?
not just OpTic, right? That's Crim too. So like I think and
3-0.
NYSL 0-9 in hardpoint. You telling me we're not winning a hardpoint scrim against NYSL?
I think we
Bro,
can
that's
beat
what
them
I'm saying. If we grinded this game from the start, yeah, I think we're taking maps on them in hardpoint for sure. For
If we
sure.
grind from the start, yes. Right now, though, we're not winning a single map versus anybody. I promise.
No, I mean I haven't even played rank play yet. Like I'm not even placed yet. So yeah, no, I don't think we're in current form. Chris is on his lost art bullshit. I was watching Ian play ranked last night.
Hey, I was piecing.
Right now, Doug is our only hope for winning maps. But
honestly,
listen,
Doug, this might be crazy, but you are actually the superstar. I know you're not used to hearing this, but you are the
man,
superstar
like,
player.
No,
Hey,
I'm the role guy,
Doug, we got your bomb plants, yo. Like,
No,
hold us down. Hold us down.
Yo, Doug, we got your hill time.
Yeah, for sure. Push out.
Please,
Yeah, I don't
no.
know. There's just you couldn't pay me to play Vanguard, Doug.
Yo, but wait,
It's
but
not
hold
bad.
on.
I love the game. It's
Hold on.
actually fun.
You
Hold on,
tripping,
he
Doug.
did say a best of 5. I think we got some S&D talent on our team though. I think we could take some searches. Aside from Enable, but
Yeah,
we got,
Look,
we got some S&D talent.
I'll guarantee us one respawn. Y'all got the S&D.
I feel like you got us in control, for sure.
He's talking, bro.
I can give you all
talking
one
like he's
respawn.
Simp right now or aBeZy. Like, what is?
I guarantee a respawn.
Ian is saying that we're gonna go last map and have a nice formidable loss to a pro team right now.
Wait,
That's
hold
what
on.
Ian's saying.
I will say, looking at a lot of pro teams, if we're going last map, this lineup versus some current pro teams, I got us in game 5s. I think we got some iciness. That's what I'm saying. We got some iciness in game 5.
We do got some ice. All right,
Wait,
all right.
honestly, I'm not even trolling. Put us on Tuscan. Like, I need you guys to just play for like 48 hours, just get your movement up. Like, we could take a Tuscan. I I think we could beat some teams.
Oh, is that your
Tuscan
map?
game
Is
5?
that your
I
map?
don't even know where the bombs are
Well,
on
like,
that map.
I just think on
So I don't
Tuscan
know if
is just
that's
like,
what it is.
it's just such a straightforward, easy map where it doesn't really take much thought process. Like, I will get you first bloods and bomb plants down every
Doug
offense.
will plant the bomb in the
whole
first 10
time.
seconds of the round. All right.
So you might see us play a pro team.
You guys picked out any other questions?
I can't even pronounce the next one's name that was picked out. So
I got
Pat,
you. I got you.
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah, so this comes from Voyage via Solus. I think I did that right. That sounded good, right?
That's
close.
good. That was
Is
cool. That was what-
Boston
that's what I was-
Breach Boston Breach the real deal? Are they a well-rounded team, and do you see a team change in their future?
Go ahead,
I'll
Doug.
take
That's
that
you.
first.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think Boston Breach is a very well overall team. Because for me the biggest question mark was Capsule going into the year, because I knew Nero from last year. He was solid. He was like a good player in challengers. He was really good at winning his fights. I thought he could be a solid pro, and he's been pretty solid in the league. But Capsule was the biggest one to me, where I was like, I don't really know about this guy, especially in respawn. And he's exceeded all my expectations. He's probably the best player on their team right now. Statistically, I think he is. And his role is very impactful. So with Capsule playing the way he is, Zinni's playing very consistent as their main. TJ a little bit inconsistent at times, but he's also shown to pop off, and he's a great winning player. I think Boston is a really good, well-rounded team, and I don't see a reason to have a team change at all. I think they'll definitely stick for stage 2, unless if they literally just didn't win a map and looked horrible at the major, but I don't see that happening. I think Boston's a very well-rounded team.
I think what they got going for them right now is they're a really good search team, right? Like even when they lose, it's super competitive. It's almost round 11 every time. But yeah, I mean, to your point, and by the way, I think TJ has one of the better S&D KDs in the league, so he's frying in search. But to your point about their consistencies, I think that's that's going to be a struggle for them, especially being like a rookie based lineup, right, with Capsule and Nero, who I do think are exceeding expectations. But yeah, their respawns just look shaky for me. I mean, some days they're good, some days they're bad. To me, they're a lot like Florida, where they have like a super high ceiling, and on any given day could beat anybody, but they also could lose to any team, on any given day. So I do think they're the real deal. Do I see a team change in their future? Probably not in the short term, but I definitely could see this team making a change before champs at the end of the year.
Yeah, it's too early to tell. And at the end of the day, unless you're like looking abysmal right now, like we can't really predict any team changes. We never know how the rest of the season's going to play out. What do you have to say, bro? Why?
So you got a different opinion, Ian?
No, yeah, I'm thinking about it. So I don't think they're the real deal. I don't. And the reason why, I actually, in one of my personal videos, I said that they were the most overrated team in the beginning of the game. And the reason is, I'm looking back at their series in the Major 1 qualifiers, but there's always that one team in the beginning of every Call of Duty title. We all know this. A team that, when you look at them on paper, their past experience as players and even potentially as a team, they outperform their ceiling right in the beginning. And then they just
sorry, go ahead.
Oh my God. But they just fall off over time. It happens every single year. And that's kind of what I think Boston Breach is. And looking at Major 1 qualifiers, right? We're talking about their S&D and everything, which I agree their S&D is their saving grace. But bro, they probably had one of the weakest
that's true.
Schedules out of any team. They played LAG, Paris, Atlanta, New York, and Texas. So Paris and New York, they played two of literally the two worst teams. Okay. They played LAG in the beginning, which LAG I think has improved a lot more as of late, but they're still not like a top team. And then they obviously have Atlanta and Texas, which, and
they lost to New York, by the way. Keep that in mind. They gave New York their only win. They lost
to New York, but like the fact that they're 2-3, I'm not confident about them. Their S&D is kind of like hasn't been up to par the last two series. They lost both S&Ds to NYSL, which is basically a new team of royalty. They lost the S&D today to OpTic. Their control is absolutely abysmal. Like their hard point is mediocre at best. So I don't know. I think that they have good players on their team, but if they really want to make like a actual name for themselves, they're going to have to make a team change. I just don't think they compare with the top dogs currently.
It makes sense. Honestly, though, you're kind of biased, man, because you're known as TJ's boogeyman. So,
and TJ can't beat me in the fair one. So, but I don't know. I like all the people on that team. I do. I think they're going to keep regressing. It's as simple as that. I don't think they're going to do well Major 1. And
I don't either.
I feel like that's been the theme of this year. All these teams you wouldn't expect to do good are doing pretty damn good. Well, they start off pretty good. And they don't look half bad right now, but we'll see how things keep going.
That's a good question, though. It's a good question. I always love when I can cook somebody.
Anyways, that's going to wrap it up for questions for the week. Thank you guys for everyone that contributed the questions, and I hope you guys enjoyed our answers.
And remember, this is a weekly thing, right? So make sure if you guys want questions answered, we're always going to be kind of keeping an eye on the comment section week by week, and we want to get some good ones. So if you have something, just throw it in there, and maybe it'll get picked next week.
Although we do appreciate all the gas, try to get more questions in there because it's kind of hard for us to scroll.
No. Forget what Chris is saying. Keep gassing, baby. Reverse sweep to the top 2022. Keep the gas up and smash the like button.
Pat. I'm loving it.
Okay. So let's get to the rest of the show, man. We had a really, really exciting week. We had some teams that are unintentionally cheating in a way. We had a lot of upsets. whoa, hold on, we'll talk about it later, but we had a lot of upsets as well, and it was a really good week. I honestly thought like it wasn't gonna be that exciting. I looked at some of the matches and I was like, oh, this team's gonna win, it's gonna be a pretty straightforward week, but I was pretty surprised by some of the results. So
where do we start? What's the first thing we should start with, Ian?
Well, I'm not going to say the cheating scandal because
so we're starting here.
I don't know. Seriously, I want to personally talk about Seattle Surge this week because that is a team that I was super high on going into this week. I thought they looked like, at worst, second best team in the game. And I don't know. I know they had close series in the beginning of the Major 1 qualifiers, but I just really didn't expect them to go 0-2 this week, especially losing how they did. Like it wasn't really close. And I don't know if, similar to what I was saying about Boston Breach, is with Seattle Surge is kind of starting out hot, and now other teams are catching up. They were just ahead of the game. But I guess I want your guys' opinion, especially you, Doug, because I know you have a lot of experience. You know all these players, and I'm sure you've scrimmed them. Like, what do you think went wrong this week? But also, is this just they're in kind of a mini slump? They're going to bounce back, or do you just think maybe people were overhyping them?
No, I don't think Seattle's overhyped at all. And even though they lost, I mean, look, like London on land did not look good. London online looked incredible. Seattle on land looked really good. Seattle online does not look that good. We spoke about this last week as well. Lamar was a bit, I don't want to say he's the reason because that's just blasphemy to say that, but he was, when the game was on the line and it was 5-5, map 5, he was the one both times who made the play to win.
That's
if he doesn't
fact.
hop that defuse on that Berlin B-bomb, they don't win. If he doesn't make that 1v2, which I have no idea what Major and Preston are doing there, they don't win. So like they easily could have been 1-4, you know, but on LAN, you know what it is? They have 3 players on that team that are just really, really mechanically good at getting kills and being slayers. So that's going to translate to LAN. We already saw it happen on LAN. I don't really see much changing with this team. I don't think these online matches should be deterring them in any way. We all know, we've all been around for so long. Teams online, just because they're winning does not mean they're going to be winning on LAN. Like that is just a fact that we've seen throughout the years. Like, I think that Seattle team is fine. I think them losing those 2 matches is not a big deal at all. And I'm definitely not going to jump the gun and say Seattle's not a top 3 team in the game anymore because they still are. They have the talent, they have the players, they have the work ethic, and you're going to lose matches playing against 11 other teams in the COD League in a game that's always going to be day to day against other players that are really good. Like, that's just how it's going to go. So,
Yeah, but,
So,
go ahead.
No. So I have a polar opposite take. I think they overperformed at the Kickoff Classic. I agree they're probably a good LAN team, but the thing is, I think they were well prepared. I think they were probably the most prepared team in the game at that point in time. And you kind of, they were the ones that were just not on social media, not streaming, heads down, grinding.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when they came into the start of stage 1, to me, they were good, but they weren't that good, right? Like, Doug, if they lose those 2 round 11s, this team
were gassing them up though, Pat.
They were clutch, but they weren't good. And the reason they were gassing them, and this is kind of one of my biggest takeaways from Seattle in general, is Sib was like a 1.5.
Yeah,
every series, he was a 1.5, and they were just edging them out in like game 5 round 11s with Lamar clutching up. So let's take aside the Lamar clutch ups, right? Let's just assume they're 0-2 or 1-2 or whatever going into this week. Then you look at the fact that I think Sib today and yesterday, so both of those matches they lost, he had like a 0.7, like legit, like your superstar who was literally cooking with 1.5s is dropping 0.7s. And then Pred is having like 0.8 series. And granted, I don't think that's going to be the same. To be honest, I don't think he's a 1.5 player or a 0.7 player. But my fear is that, when he is dropping 1.5s, if they're barely squeaking out game 5, round 11, Lamar, ice up, clutch, rounds, how is this team going to consistently be a top 3 team in the game? And that was the biggest thing for me, is that it's just the fall off from their superstars from early in the game to now. And I think it does play a part with other teams catching up as well. I think they were just ahead for a long period of time. And yeah, Doug, I mean, you kind of do have the argument of LAN versus online, but something I kind of want to flip on that is like, can we use that excuse for NYSL, right? They looked good at the kickoff, but they came here and they haven't won a single hardpoint map. Like, I don't care where you're playing. You can win one fucking map.
I think nowadays too, it's not as extreme as it was back when like we played a lot of those online matches in the MLG days, where it was like you actually could host fuck, with the servers.
We're all in Texas.
Yeah, and that. Pat, I didn't even realize. I actually looked at that after you said it. Yeah, like I knew that they weren't playing well, but Sib and Pred,
huge fall off.
They're 0.7, 0.8 in the respawns. Seattle's S&D is still top tier. They're one of the best S&D teams in the game.
We'll always agree with that for now, for sure.
But I wonder if it's like, because they're the new guys, right? They're the rookies, whatever you want to call it. If it's either maybe their heads got a little too big, or if it's something like, even though, just hear me out, because this isn't going to make complete sense, but you know how in sports, Pat, especially like basketball, you're a fan, and Doug and Chris, I'm sure you guys might have heard this quote before, but it's like sophomore slump. And it's basically you're kind of doing well because the people that you're going up against don't really know how you play, right? And then they figure you out, and so you're not catching them off guard. Like, do you think that they're bro, Simp was dropping a 1.4 every series.
Bro, he was having crazy stats, like crazy.
And like,
stats.
he's obviously unbelievable. We were all saying that Simp could have been the best player in the game last week.
I thought he was, yeah.
And then it's like Aches is taking over for him, and you're playing for him, Pat. So,
whoa, if I was taking over, he'd be in the 2.0 range. Let's just get that clear.
Good try.
No, but think about what you're saying. Ian, Crim was even tweeting like, this guy Simp doesn't fucking miss.
Yeah, Crim shook. That's what I'm saying. So I don't know if maybe they just got like ahead of themselves. They're feeling like their shit don't stink, essentially. But it's weird because I still am very confident in them. But even at with what I said with Boston, I could say the same thing for Seattle. Maybe they just were really hot in the beginning and they start to cool off. Even though I think Seattle does have a lot more talent.
I need to see a dominant win. Yeah, you guys agree? We need to see a dominant Seattle win.
3-1 against a good team.
Not an edge out game 5 round 11. I need to see a smoke show Seattle.
Weren't they doing that on land?
Just
kind of smoking everybody?
Bro, it's the kickoff. People weren't even prepared.
They were, Doug.
We're talking about 3 weeks ago?
Nah, that was like a month ago.
Okay, so 4 weeks ago. Let's see what happens
over a month
on the
ago.
land. I'm very confident. Who is Seattle playing? Who are they playing?
Doug's right.
Confident.
Doug's right. But they got a tough matchup.
Yeah, it's OpTic, right? Yeah, they're playing OpTic, who honestly is looking like the best team in the game. We were talking about OpTic after that 0-2 start, how they looked sloppy as fuck. But in their last 3 wins, they have looked on point. It's been dominant wins. Like, they've looked good. So they're going to be playing. Not only is it a really hot OpTic team, it's a really hot OpTic team at OpTic's major event. And Ian, back to your kind of sophomore conversation, right, with these rookies, no one in that crowd is going to be cheering for Seattle. Let's keep that in mind.
That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure for, even Mac, to be honest. Yeah. None of them know, besides Lamar, what it's like to go up against an OpTic team in a LAN environment.
On their home turf, yeah.
Yeah, on their, double whammy. That's the statement series, I think. They need to, at this point, upset OpTic because, like you said, they've been looking dominant ever since they started off slow.
I think if they lose to OpTic, right? I think if they get blown out by OpTic, I think they're going to start to kind of have that downward trend that we were just talking about with kind of how Boston was. Do
you think they're having it now, Chris? Do you think they're having it now after those two? What do you think their morale's like after those 2 pretty bad losses this week?
Knowing the players on that team, I don't think it's going to be a morale thing. I think they're going to be more motivated. Sib is a very motivated person. I know they got Phoenix on there, Lamar, those guys are all very motivational. They're not the type of people to just be down on themselves all the time. But but you guys do bring up good points about that team. I was actually really surprised this weekend because I was looking forward to seeing London and Seattle play each other because we were both we were talking about, London, these youngins look really good. Seattle, the youngins, both look really good. I was kind of excited for that match and ended up kind of being a blowout in terms of for Ravens. I think they won 3-1.
Yeah. And they were putting it to them. They were putting it to them.
Exactly. So I think it's definitely going to come down to the OpTic series. I need to see some more out of them to be more consistent because they definitely had a very wild first what is it, qualifier, I guess, or first part of the CDL,
the major one qualifier,
first stage of the the CDL. So yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. But now another team that we can talk about on top of OpTic, because we already gave OpTic their props. They're looking
we didn't really talk about them.
All right, come on. We basically said OpTic's looking like the best team.
Go ahead,
in the game.
Doug. Let's talk about OpTic.
Okay, let's talk about OpTic.
Doug. Go ahead and say it.
What do you want me to say about OpTic?
Your thoughts?
The elephant in the room.
Look, everyone, I swear, man, it's crazy how fast people's opinions change in Call of Duty. Everyone's dude, OpTic, they're not going to be good. And I did say, dude, losing 5-5 back-to-back in S&D is a heartbreaking way to lose, and it's a heartbreaking way to go out. But to say a team is chalked over it is crazy. Just like with Seattle, they went 0-2, they're chalked, they're over. You're telling me Dante just can't come back on land, and even if it's OpTic, and I think they're a great team, and I think they're definitely, I think Seattle, OpTic, Thieves, and FaZe and Ultra are like the top 5. And then you got London, who's doing really good online. But again,
I think London should be in that convo.
I'm not putting London in top 5 until they do it on LAN because they did not look good at the kickoff. And although they're looking like, I can't rate these online matches the same as anyone else does.
Wait,
no, you're not wrong. You're not. I mean, you're not. At the end of the day, because I think the biggest thing is, Doug. Sorry to cut you off. I don't know if you're done your thought, but that like a lot of the viewers don't understand. So online nowadays is a lot better, right? Than like when a lot of us were playing. But it's still different when you're in that LAN environment with, are there going to be fans there? There are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. With fans, that's the difference maker from just being able to play in the comfort of your own room, right? With your lights off or at your, team, whatever, studio or headquarters. It is different. So especially with a lot of these teams, London included, they don't have that experience. And some people, they perform better under pressure. Some crumble. So I feel like what you're saying is fair.
Definitely.
I kind of have slightly different reasons, but I agree with it.
Well, even with latency, I mean, dude, like look at the team that just won the last few Challenger Cups. They won 4 in a row. They have 3 players from Texas. I think that has a lot to do with the success of the team. Like, I'm not going to say that they're not great because I think all the players are great. I think the team's great. But online ping is a really big thing. No matter how great of a player you are, no matter how good your team is, if you're playing in a certain situation online, it will affect the match drastically.
Okay, but this is literally completely irrelevant because the teams we're talking about are all in Texas. And so Seattle's in Texas, and they had a good start, rough week. New York is in Texas, besides the one match they had Royalty in Canada.
Yes, yeah.
Paris
OpTic is obviously in Texas. Paris is obviously in Texas. Toronto is not, and they're still doing
Seattle's
well.
matches that they lost
and then
in Texas as well. The teams that they lost to.
Yeah, ROKKR's in Texas too. No, they lost to London and
Florida.
So those teams are not in Texas, right?
Yeah, but that's a favorable
North
series.
Carolina and Florida, or wherever they are, somewhere.
Mostly Florida, yeah. But that's still a favorable connection.
Regardless, all the ping matters, man. Every latency point matters.
Regardless, we're gonna go. Before we go off on a tangent about this whole online stuff, because we've been doing this for years. We obviously know how bullshit online. But if we're gonna actually give somebody, their props, we got to talk about the Thieves. The Thieves have been looking dominant.
Chris, yes.
Thieves have been looking dominant. And
by the way,
what? Oh my God, you guys!
He paid for that. Look, he paid for that too.
No. I'm thinking Thieves Major 1.
Serious. But the Thieves have looked amazing. Pat was just saying how they look like one of the best, if not the best, hardpoint team in the game right now. And if we're going to be talking about online, they've been doing this from the West Coast,
from LA, baby.
Yeah,
from
and
LA.
everyone knows how notorious it is for California internet, all blah blah blah. But they've been
Thieves
looking really good.
Must have something serious.
They do. Trust.
They must have something serious.
Nah, they look good though. Which I'm glad.
8-1 in hardpoint, I think.
It is. Yeah. Well, so 8-2.
Oh,
but
8-2 now.
But if you count the Kickoff Classic and Major 1, they're 13-3 overall.
Which is a dominant start. That's like a FaZe, FaZe start.
They look really good. This is the best LAT team that they've had. And I'm glad because I personally get to see them play because they practice out of the compound. Like they all go to the compound every single day for their scrims, or almost every single day. They play the matches out there. So whenever I'm in the compound, I'm filming content, I always go kick it with them. And I could see how hard they're working, because we know that they've been getting a lot of hate. Yeah, a lot of the Octane with the Seattle last year, Kenny obviously the only one that I think people like is Envoy. Yeah, just because he was on OpTic, the Prince. But I'm glad that they're performing well because in the beginning of the game they didn't look too hot. Like I remember before going into the Kickoff Classic, I had watched here and there. They didn't look too great. I wasn't happy with their performance, I guess, as a fan. And a lot of the other teams didn't think they were that good. Doug probably knows, because that was like the word on the street. But I think ever since the Classic, they just kind of flipped that switch. Like, okay, we need to improve, and they're improving at a very fast rate. They still need to fix their S&D and their control, though. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it and act like they're the best team in the game because I don't think they are. Definitely the best hardpoint team in the game.
I don't have a link, but there was a listening. There was one particular listening. It was a Tuscan hardpoint.
Don't gas this man up. I already know.
Did you hear Sam's comms?
Yes, I did. They were good. They were good comps.
Bro, he's never calm like that in his career. That's a fact. He's never calm like that.
He's not the superstar.
Now.
Is that what it is?
True.
Yeah,
Bro, his
come on.
small talk was nuts. It was like 2 straight minutes of like almost perfect small talk. So
No, yeah,
He's excited. He's excited to play in a good winning team after not playing on one.
I think that's important. That's important, right?
Sam hasn't been on a good team the entire CDL up until now. So
that's an important thing to talk about is the transition that players make when they're in winning environments, right? Like when you're in a winning environment as a player, things change for you, right? When
different mindset.
Your mindset and even your play is elevated when you're getting on thinking and knowing you have confidence in your team that you're able to win. So Octane was killing it. So shout out to him. And the whole Thieves group.
They still need me though. But
maybe next year.
I want to wrap back around. I'm sorry, just because I do think it's important that we talk about it. I know we talked about OpTic, and praise them because they turned it around completely. It night and day from the first 2 matches to the end of the qualifiers. But we all saw the whole thing with Shotzzy and the F8 stabilizer. And I'm kind of asking this as a question too, Doug and even Chris, because I know you guys both have a lot more game time than I do. But like, what do you think about that whole situation? Right? It was clear that it was an accident. Shotzi's like, I know Shotzzy a decent amount, and he just, respectfully, he's like an airhead. You know what I mean? Like he's just whatever. He's not thinking about that.
He's a bonehead, man.
Yeah, like he's not thinking about that, and he's not going to do something to quote unquote cheat to get an advantage. But is it that big of was that whole thing that big of a deal? Because I don't even know what the F8 stabilizer does.
No,
rapid fire, I think.
Because I heard before you go, Chris.
No, that's recoil booster.
I heard that.
Oh, that's the recoil booster.
Teams were trying to blacklist them, by the way.
Okay,
because of that. Because of the cheating thing, and I don't know if there's other things behind the scenes, or it was just this. But I was kind of mind blown about the whole situation.
Okay, yeah, the F8 stabilizer, it's just a recoil enhancing attachment. So
does it take the bloom off? I saw someone on Twitter say that.
I think it has some like accuracy stat, which I think is bloom, so it does. And it's got like it's like long barrel, so it's like it's not game changing to the point where it won them the series in a dominant fashion.
Yeah, no, they were just outplayed the fuck out of them.
In terms of blacklisting, I think that's very uncalled for. But at the same time, I think if anything there is to bring up, it's more of like backlash. It's like if like a different player did that to OpTic per se, they would get actually shit on, and people would make it a huge deal when
there'd be death threats on Twitter.
Like people would people could use an attachment that made your gun worse, and it was and if the attachment was not blacklisted, GA'd, and they won the series because of it, even if it made your gun worse, they would have been like, oh, you did this and this and this, if it wasn't like Shotzzy or anyone from OpTic, which I think is fair, man. I think there's a lot of bias when it comes down to stuff like this. I would always talk about this back in the day when it came to me. It's like, oh, if I made a joke, it would be like toxic. If somebody else made the same joke, it wouldn't be the same. I mean, the same thing applies with, if somebody made a mistake in the CDL with stuff like that, things that aren't officially, banned and stuff like that, that some people would make it a big deal, some people wouldn't. And I think that's a very fair thing. Oh yeah, Sib would be torched if it was any rookie. Even though they're a rookie, like they're the ones that are more prone to making mistakes like that. So I don't know. I think it's a fair point, but at the end of the day, man, it's I think people are kind of over exaggerating it, calling it cheating and stuff like that.
My gripe with it is 2 things, right? One, I agree, complete accidental mistake. But granted, at this level of play and how official this is, it shouldn't be possible to do this, right? That shit should be banned by the classes, and all players should be aware of it. But
true.
How did it take to map 3? It was so I obviously was watching it. As soon as it happened in that hard point, it was well aware map 1. Everyone went to Twitter. It was widely talked about. I don't understand how it took a whole nother map for him to take it off. That was kind of my confusing part, was like, how did he play the whole map? Obviously, there was a ton of backlash on Twitter. It was well aware. I'm assuming the coaches had to have been, aware of it. Casters were even talking about it. Go into map 2, and it's still on all the way through map 2. That was like the thing that's like, all right, like how does that happen, right? Like production, CDL, Twitter, coaches. There's so many people that are aware of it. How is it still gonna take a whole another map?
The biggest thing to me is like, obviously, I think the reason it lasted as long as it did is because it was a genuine mistake. Because if it wasn't a genuine mistake and they actually were using F8 stabilizer, then they would know they're getting away with doing something that they shouldn't, and they'd be paranoid expecting somebody to say something, and then they would change it. They clearly just didn't realize it, right? And I think it's an honest mistake. Would I be mad if someone used F8 stabilizer against me in challengers? Yeah, I would. But would I think that it's like game breaking? No, I wouldn't. And then also, I think it's really on the league. Like, I can't stand these GAs, especially, look, it's happening in the league. You got players who are running attachments that are GA'd by accident. These kids in challengers get away with it every week. They're running ATS. They're using 2D radar hacks. I mean, they're geo-filtering their pings. You can't control some of these things, but what we definitely can control is what attachments, what guns, what perks, what equipment, what lethal can and cannot be used. And that's on the game developers. I really hope that starting, like, I hope that we could just get these attachments banned from rank play, from everything. I hope that the in-game settings like automatic tactical sprint can simply just be banned if you're playing in ranked or playing in a private match with CDL settings on. Because there's so many different things and so many different settings, especially PC COD. 10 attachments on your gun that came out in MW, right? We have 10 attachments on guns. We have 300,000 settings. Like, we need one structured rule set, one structured just game that we're all playing. Because some players run ATS, some players use F8 stabilizer, even in the pro league. And maybe it's an accident, maybe it's not. But I think this really comes down to the game developers making something and doing something different, not so much the players. Because if the attachments allow, they should be able to use it.
Did you see the lead game designer at Treyarch? Kind of his tweets about rank play. He was saying, "Yeah, our plan is to match." He said, "Our plan is to match the pro GAs completely."
Perfect.
So
that's a good thing.
But you know, the question is that going to be just rank play? Is that going to be updated? Because Sledgehammer's got to update the CDL rule set, right? Like, that's.
I mean, I would assume.
Bro, it's like Matix on Twitter, right?
No. I forgot his name. He's the lead game designer at Treyarch. It's not Matix, but you got to keep in mind here. No, he's not Tony Flynn. I forgot his name. I'll have to look it up. But the thing to keep in mind is there's two studios working on it, right? Like, it's Treyarch working on all the rank stuff, and then it's Sledgehammer's game. So it's kind of confusing to kind of get everybody on the same page, and I think that's why there's a lot of issues with the game in general of, you know, when it comes to the competitive side. So
I just think it's unacceptable, man. Like, it's been how many years where stuff like this happens, where I feel it's been so many years. I still remember like Lacefield using like some sort of perk in like BO3 or BO4, was it? Like,
no, it was MW.
It was MW. Oh yeah, it was MW. Wow, I remember.
Bro, he picked the default sniper class. The default sniper class in a CDL rule set, because he didn't make a sniper class, so he just used the default one. And the default one allowed him to have that banned perk it was banned in the CDL rule set that you couldn't even put on your class. It used it in the game, and we got forfeited a map.
So my point being is, it just needs to be better. They need to be better about this stuff. There's no reason why CDL shouldn't have updated rules in the game. There's no reason why things that we agree to be GA'd on shouldn't be instantly just updated. I feel like it doesn't take any effort to do so, but then again, I don't know how the games are coded, but it just doesn't make fucking sense. It doesn't, because this has been happening for years. I feel like at least once or twice a year this happens, where somebody has a banned attachment on and there's a big deal, or somebody uses something that is GA'd, or there's this whole GA disagreement, and it just needs to stop.
You remember Bar Long Barrel? You guys remember that? World War II? How many instances we'd be sitting in the pro lounge looking if somebody had long barrel on their bar?
Yeah,
I remember
it's
that.
just
mistakes are gonna happen, bro. It's simple as that. If you don't just make it to where you can't even make a mistake in the first place.
Well, listen, we got off topic. We were talking about OpTic. It kind of led in this issue with, you know, the game's current format.
I think they cheated, by the way.
No. I think it was an accidental mistake for sure. But I do think it is fair to say, you know, that's really sucks for Toronto. And I do kind of want to say this is kind of an asterisk series for, you know, OpTic moving forward, right? Like, yeah, they got the win. Nah, this is an asterisk series because, bro, I've been on the other side of this, right? Like, that bothers you. That fucks with your composure when you're like, especially you play 2 maps and they use an attachment against you.
It does.
So they won this fair and square, but it is an asterisk series at the end of the day. And I think it's just going to be looked at like that for the rest of the year. But Anyway, that's OpTic. That's Seattle. Let's talk about NYSL, man. I think that's a combo point we still gotta have, right? Ian,
do we have to?
We got to.
A little
Ian,
bit
I
better.
think, last episode you brought up a good point, right? Like, can Crim and Clay play on the same team in the 4v4? And I think as times go on, we saw a roster change. They got rid of Neptune, but I didn't really agree with you at the start of that point, but I think I am now. I think, this is going to come down to, this is more than a 2-person change. And I think Hydra's the only one who needs to be kept 100%. So what are you guys' thoughts on NYSL? They obviously had a lucky win against Breach and then got smoked by FaZe. So what are you guys' thoughts?
It looked a little bit better though.
They looked better.
No,
They did. I mean, it's hard not to look better, to be honest with you, with the way they were playing. And we talked about it last week, and just in general, too, not even on the topic of Crim and Clays, NYSL just isn't getting enough kills, right, compared to these other teams. And in this series versus FaZe, it was the first time that Hydra had a rough series. Every other series they played before this, he was doing everything that he could to drag NYSL to a win, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
And Crim and Clay, they played solid. They led the team in total kills in the series versus FaZe, and the hard points were so-so. They won the control, but I don't know. I just and people, this is the thing that people were saying, Pat. They were like, "Are you an idiot to me for saying that Crim and Clay can't play together?" It's like, look at all the history that they have, and that's a different time than this game.
Another game. Any other game, we wouldn't have this combo.
Yeah, I'm talking about right now how Vanguard is played. I just don't think they work together. Even they didn't play great. Clay had a 1.05, and Crim had a 0.93, but they both had third and fourth most damage in the lobby in that FaZe series, right? But I just think, and this is gonna sound like I'm talking shit to them, and I'm not, but I think if they're playing to get more kills, it's not gonna help their team. Does that make sense? But at the same time, they need to get more kills. I'm basically calling them kill whores without saying it, but I just feel like their pacing is so off. If they try and be aggressive with Royalty and Hydra, they're just not doing well individually. And if they try to really focus on, okay, I'm just going to get my kills, put my damage in, they're leaving Hydra and Royalty out to dry a lot more.
And
I don't know if I'm crazy. That's just what I see through my own eyes, especially in the series versus FaZe.
Well, listen, you got to think, this whole Neptune change was they wanted someone to kind of almost play a hill bitch kind of style, right? They didn't like how Neptune was so hyper aggressive and he wasn't playing the style of COD that Crim and Clay want to play.
And they get Royalty though.
Yeah, and so look, so stat wise, if you kind of compare Royalty and Neptune right now, they're pretty much stat wise identical, with the exception of Royalty's doing a lot more objective work than Neptune was. Talking about control captures, hill time, stuff like that.
Because he's trying to do it all. Because he knows his situation. He knows. I don't think he got the opportunity.
And Chris and Doug, you guys can kind of talk to this. I don't think that's Royalty's style either way, right? I don't think Royalty's some OBJ focused minded, hill bitch. I think he's a pretty high octane slayer in his own right. So it's interesting that
he plays around the objective, but it's not like he's just going to stay on the objective.
Right, yeah.
Role, I guess.
And kind of Ian, to your point, they lack pace. I don't understand why they would want someone to not play like Neptune, right? Granted, Neptune was playing bad, and I think that was a lot of reasons behind that, but I think they need someone who's going to match Paco and be able to run around with Paco in a Simp and aBeZy style. I think Paco does it really well, and he has that capability. So yeah, I think they're just all over the place. I think their lineup in general does not make sense, and their game plan for that lineup doesn't make any sense.
Can I the way? Because I'm still going back to the way I explained it. Because I don't know if it made sense, but when you look at a team like FaZe, right, with what we're talking about pacing, the flex player who in FaZe's situation is Cellium, right? Who, even though it doesn't matter if there's a flex gun or It's just you switch from a sub to an AR depending on the maps, and because it's different in every game. But they have Cellium, okay, who he bridges the gap between Arcitys, who's their main AR, and their two subs in aBeZy and Simp, right? Cellium is very aggressive, but he's also unbelievably talented. And you look at every other top team, their flex guy is not only very talented and can be cracked, but he's also very aggressive. You look at NYSL, they have Royalty and Hydra. I mean, Hydra's one of the best subs in the game, in my opinion. Royalty, still need to see a little bit more from him, but he just got into that team and learning how they like to play. But when you look at Crim and Clay, one, I don't know who is the quote unquote flex player.
I think it's Crim.
It's Crim, right?
It's Crim.
Crim can't, and Crim is the greatest Call of Duty player of all time. I stand by that. He can't play to the level of a Cellium, of a Kenny, of who is it? Cammy on Toronto.
It's every team's best player. Gunless, Sib.
That is so disrespectful to Porter.
No. So hear me out. This is what I mean, though, is playing at that pace. He's not going to do well individually. Now, he doesn't need to do well individually to win a series. I'm not saying that. You could go back and review the film and see a million different mistakes. But for him to play well and for Clay to play well, I feel like it just strains the overall team more. From what I've seen, I've watched their matches, and a blind man would be able to tell that their pacing is off.
Well, Ian, think about the maps they're playing.
I've seen in this game.
Up until today, they were banning Berlin in every series.
Yeah, every
series. And that's a map that would suit them more than Bocage and Tuscan.
They're trying to. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense to me.
You're trying to put Crim on sub maps. Explain that. Why would you not want Crim to run an auto?
I mean, Pat, you team with him.
He can run both, but he's not suited.
Obviously.
But he's not suited to run a sub versus heavy sub teams on the team he's on right now. The fact that today was the first day they played Berlin when they're 0-9 hardpoint, and they literally looked like Berlin was their best map. They went up 180 to 130 on FaZe, one of the best teams in the game, on their first time ever playing Berlin. They literally have been picking Bocage and Tuscan every one of their series. Maps that you have to run 3 subs on, which makes no fucking sense. Why would you want that if you're in YSL? If I'm in YSL, I'm going into every series, I'm banning either Bocage or Tuscan, and I'm picking either Gavitu or fucking Berlin.
Make the other teams work for it.
Yeah. I'm making sure I get a map that I can run Crim on an auto.
Doug, why do you think what I said was that disrespectful?
I think Crim
I started it off with he's the greatest Call of Duty player of all time.
No, of course, yeah. But just because he's struggling right now does not mean that he's going to be struggling all year. We're talking about Crimsix here, man. Wait,
hold on, Doug. Let me interrupt you really quick, and I'll let you, because I want to kind of spotlight this. He isn't struggling. He literally won them that Gavitu control. He individually isn't struggling, but the pace that he's trying to play for this team is struggling. Go ahead.
No, I don't think it's a Crim problem at all. If I'm being honest, I think that the biggest issue with NYSL, and I wanted to say this a little bit earlier when we were touching on them a little bit, but I guess now's a better time to say it. I think that Crim and Clay put a lot of pressure on players to perform, and you either are made for that or you're not. Now, clearly they thought Travis was not made for that. Clearly Paco is still performing well, regardless if he's made for it or not. He must be made for it. But Crim and Clay got to step it up as individuals. They got to lead by example. And they got to do their jobs, which they did on LAN. I thought they played good. And I think what happened with this team was, just from an outside perspective, I could be wrong, but I think that when they went 0-2 in their first 2 matches, when Travis wasn't fitting the system they wanted, and they benched him, and they brought in Royalty, obviously, Royalty and Neptune are very similar players, so I guess they thought Royalty would be a little bit more objective-oriented, which he is. And they probably thought that they could take the criticism that Crim and Clay want to give, which I'm sure Matt can, because I know Matt. I just think that they put a lot of tension on each other, when in reality they're just disgusting at COD, and they need to focus on how good they are and play with a little bit more trust, in my opinion. I think on LAN they're going to be dramatically better. I highly doubt they'll get 3-0'd regardless of who they play. And I could see them placing top 6, if I'm being honest. I know we talked about this earlier, Pat, off camera. I think New York is a lot better than these online matches. Like, I hate seeing people gas teams up because of online matches. It is the biggest fugaze in the history of our esport. We've seen this before. We've seen teams be good online and not be good on LAN. We've seen teams be average or bad online and turn up and either win or get like top 3 on LAN. Like, this isn't a new story. I think New York is way better than what we're giving them credit for.
Doug, see, I agree with you, but at the same time, there's not much we can do. Like, these are the results we have in front of us. So
you're right. You're right,
Chris. We're going to formulate our opinions on. But I do think they can be better, because I feel like it's got to be one of those things where I feel like every single match that they play or every map that they play, someone is just struggling, whether it's Crim, Clay, or Royalty or Neptune, or even Hydra's not playing the best. He's not struggling, but he's not playing up to par. And you can't really blame him for not playing as good as he has versus all the other teams when he's playing against FaZe. Like, come on, it's FaZe. Like, he can be a superstar, but he's not going to get away with, being able to kind of almost like solo carry a map versus that team. But at the end of the day, they just need to find some consistency on maps, and they need to obviously play a better map pool, because like Pat was saying, their map pool is just atrocious. What they've been playing, it doesn't make any sense to me. But I think you guys are pretty much spot on with the whole Crim and Clay thing. They need either play better maps or one of them needs to step it up. But anyways, after that match, sorry, go ahead.
Doug, I have a question. So, online or not, they're 0-9 in hardpoint. I don't care if
we're taking one hard point against one team in the league. We're taking one. 250, 249. We're getting one.
I don't care if you're playing from fucking Australia, bro. You can't be 0-9 in hardpoint when you're 2 3-time world champions, 2 of the best Call of Duty players of all time. How are you 0-9 in hardpoint? And you're all from Texas with fiber.
Dude, they keep on playing Bokage hardpoint. Like,
I
keep on playing it. They keep on playing it. They keep on playing it. Like,
they have like a sick obsession, bro. They love it.
And their flex player can't match other top teams. It's just what it is.
I'll give
not
you guys
on that map.
I remember. I don't want to roast my boy Ricky from LAG, but I remember with Rick, I trusted him with my life when it came to vetoes, because I think Ricky's very good at them. We at Champs in World War II. We would scrim a lot of S&D before Champs. We were really good at S&D. But the one map that I questioned in our S&D was St. Marie. And we had like these crazy strats. We looked good on in the scrims. We played at Champs. We play FaZe on it. We lose like 6-3. Okay, fine. We play Enigma 6 on it. We had to beat him to get out. We lose that one map. That's St. Marie. We go into pool play. We're playing against Red Reserve, or we're playing Red Reserve in losers bracket at Champs. And I'm like, yo, Rick, we should veto St. Marie S&D. He's like, what, dude? No, man. Our strengths are really good. They're not that good on this map. I'm like, dude, we've lost this map twice this week. I don't want to play it again. He's like, dude, we're playing it, man. And then we played the map. And then I saw Raided's face. He was like, oh, it's over. We just got our best maps. And I'm just like, God. And then we lose the S. I'm like, dude, if we didn't win the map twice in a row, I don't want to play it a third time. Like,
you gotta adapt, right?
Exactly.
Dude, New York Subliners, if you lose Bokage Hardpoint once, if you play it a second time and you lose it, veto the map and go back to the drawing board with it. Give it like a new week of scrim. I don't know, but clearly you shouldn't be playing that map.
You should be vetoing it. They tried today.
Wait, because they finally, and they look good. And they look good, by the way. They lost and they lost. FaZe. They look good versus the best.
FaZe is good on Berlin Hardpoint. I could tell you because I scrimmed them on it a few days ago, and they were very good on Berlin Hardpoint.
I will say, this is always one of Crim's problems is, like, he loves playing the maps that he knows because, and this is a World War II example where, OpTic kind of just, whatever, that team was weird, but they had the opportunity to either play us on our worst map, which was Valkyrie, which we were horrible at. So the last maps that were left was like, it was Gibraltar, Valkyrie, and something else. And they decided to play Gibraltar just because they were solid at Gibraltar. Even though they could have picked Valkyrie and smoked our shit.
Which was by far your worst, yeah.
Bro, we were like...
You would have been a world champ. You would have been top 24.
I would have been out. But they
would have been a world champ, you know what I'm saying?
But they went and picked Gibraltar just because they're familiar with it. But it's like, bro, at some point...
Porter gave you 100K. And he took Ian's money from basically took the money from Ian and gave it to you.
150
because of Porter's vetoes. But go on, I'm sorry to cut you off.
But yeah, I was looking at Porter while that happened, and I'm like in the back of my head, I'm like, wow, are you serious? So to me, it doesn't make sense because like in the veto system, right? And this is something that NYSL just need to take a whole look at in general. You need to start being able to adapt on the fly and play your opponent, and not just sit here and go into every series like, oh, we're fucking 7-2 on bow cage and scrims this week. Let's play bow cage again. And then get fucking ran.
You can't play your game when you don't have a game to play.
Yeah, bro.
You gotta do something else. Like just throwing a curveball, even if it like up to your standards.
Which is why I'm glad I saw Berlin today, but it pissed me off that I hadn't seen it fucking the whole fucking stage. Like, where the fuck was that?
Do we ever stat on their bow cage HPs? How many times they played that in those 9 losses? It has to be at least 4.
Oh, Bokin. Sorry, I thought you said Berlin. Yeah, it's a lot. And what's funny is it's a lot, and Crim usually does pretty solid on him. So I think Crim's playing the maps he likes, bro. I need no pressure. The NYSL documentary, bro. I need to see who's in the vetoes, bro. If Crim's like talking to Revan or whoever, like, yo, pick bow cage, yeah. Hydra's a beast.
He just whispered in his ear.
It's Crim's best map the whole time.
Clay's like, bow cage again? I thought we were vetoing that shit, bro. I don't know. But I will say this. They did look better. And it was versus FaZe. So we'll see. Doug's confident that they're going to get top 6. Doug might be a little drunk.
No. I'm not confident they'll get top 6. I am confident they won't get 3-0'd, and I am confident they will look way better on LAN than they look in any of these matches.
Yeah.
So you think there's no chance they get 3-0'd by Thieves or Ultra? Because that's who they're playing.
I would put money that they will not get 3-0'd. Yes, I will put money on that.
You gotta keep in mind they don't have veto. They're going to be last seed. So whoever they play gets to pick the control map. So you're basically saying that they're going to have to win the S&D because it's probably going to be tough to control.
Yeah, I think they will win the S&D. I think they will. They're good at S&D.
I don't know.
I mean, either way, I said last week, I said give them time. This is the last shot they're going to get. They got to show me something at the major because it's getting pretty bad. But I'm glad to see them at least look better in the HP. They didn't win, but I felt like they had a decent opportunity to go up 1-0 before they got curb stomped at the end of that series or at the end of that map. But anyways, off the topic of sorry, one more time.
Do you think if they get 12th again, do you see another roster change? Do any of you? If they get 12th, if they lose,
you might see somebody retire.
I feel like you have to.
Whoa.
That's a pretty hot take. I mean, you got to think. I don't see Clay retiring mid-year. So you're saying like,
no, you're right. They're not going to sacrifice the bag.
Well, here's the thing: if one of the two get dropped, where do they go? Are they going to have somewhere to go? Do they want to?
That's the thing. That's the thing. I think it's almost an impossible task, right? Because I was talking about this earlier with somebody. There's no trade value for Clay on a trade market right now. There's no trade value for him, right? Like, what team is going to take on somebody who is likely to retire either at the end of this year or next year? Yeah, and he's the main AR, and that's like the hardest role to trade for anyway.
And he's going to cost a bag. Well, I mean, it's the same thing for Crim, though. To be honest with you,
I think Crim has more trade value though, because he's not an AR, right? Like, if you look at like teams like Boston, Florida, I think there's some trade value there. Like, there's teams that would want Crim because they want leadership and they want a flex role anyway. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's more trade value for Crim, but still, I mean, yeah, like there's not much that there are not many places this team can trade players.
I will say, if they get bodied, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw one of them retire. Not like just straight up, but like it would be one of those things that Chris, you were saying, where maybe they get benched or whatever, they don't have anywhere else to go, type of thing. Because there's just no shot that they enjoy this game. Like, come on, Crim and Clay. There is
no one does.
No one does, like, but especially Crim and Clay.
I talk to Crim. I talk to Crim pretty regularly, and no one likes this game.
So unless that they're just like, hey, you know what? I still want to get my bag from this contract that I signed. I just wouldn't be surprised, bro. Both of them have already done it all. They've won everything you could possibly win. You know, you don't enjoy the game, your team is dead last. If you get absolutely first rounded out of the first major,
there's no shot. If there's no shot that if they do end up getting last, they're not looking at themselves and being like, okay, maybe like I'm not playing well. Maybe like this is, even if I do stay, right? Let's say they don't drop anyone. Am I having fun? Is this worth it?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm saying they're already rich. They already made so much cash. They do whatever they want. Content wise, you know, especially
if there's like a management position involved, like in that transition, like that's a super easy transition for either of them, Clay or Crim. If they do, one of them do get benched, like that's a That's something I think they would do in a heartbeat, and they would do seamlessly. So yeah, it's something to keep in mind. And yeah, I think to your point about the game, I think that's something a lot of fans don't realize, especially for these older players. Like, if you're having fun, that's a serious question that matters.
Yeah. Anyways, straying away from the conversation of the the New York stuff, let's go over to the FaZe side. We were talking about this on the first podcast with FaZe playing the villain role and how we thought it was kind of like unnatural and stuff like that. And we continue to see the trend. I think we saw Simp tweeted, "You are trash" to Crim or something like that. And I looked at the tweet and I'm like, I still can't take this serious. Like, bro, I don't know why. I still can't take it serious. I just don't see Simp being that type of person, and it just
it's their personalities, bro. Like, you know what they're like on camera, so like them to be like, "You are horrible," like it comes off so trolly, bro. But if they were on cam,
he called him Fat Six.
Yeah. But like if they were hopping on the interview and being like, "Yeah, we kind of were laughing playing NYSL today, like they're practice bots, like we know they suck. We were just having some fun with them," or something that looks more a little organic, that it's not so trolly, I could get behind it. But yeah,
that's not who they are. That's why they're not going to say that, because it's like it's Twitter fingers.
Twitter fingers.
No, but I mean, like when you have the camera on you, you know what I mean? Like, bro, Simp is obviously not going to be getting interviewed, and he's like, "Yeah, Fat Six is fucking trash." Like,
yo, listen, hold on. To be fair,
not going to say that, right? But if no one, what? Go ahead, Pat. Go ahead.
This was trolly, but I would rather have this than nothing, bro. I will say that. I would rather some kind of spark happen than just nothing.
That's fair. That's because I agree. I don't have nothing against Simp, aBeZy, the FaZe guys. My experiences with them are cool, and on the other side of this, dude, I don't know if like Crim has beef with, like, if it's like real beef, because, dude, I feel like everyone hates Crim, but they're also like friends with Crim. Does that make sense? Like, that's his personality. Like, Crim is like a fucking maniac.
It's like Pat.
But I don't hate him. But like,
Pat competed. Same thing. Nobody likes Pat.
Right. I guess
nobody likes Pat when he talks shit to you.
Crim's a troll.
Crim is a troll. Pat is he'd be a dickhead. Like. True. So I don't know.
Sorry, Pat.
I don't know if you guys know, but when I saw that, because Adam aBeZy even tweeted about it.
That face palm.
Yeah. And then he subtweeted Simp, but it was just like,
oh, I didn't see the subtweet. What did you
say? He subtweeted him?
It was it basically was, so first Simp said, "You suck," whatever. And then Crim said, "Yes, make it personal," which I didn't get because Simp hadn't said anything personal, I didn't think yet. And then
make it personal.
And then Simp said, "Fat Six," whatever. Adam aBeZy did the facepalm, but then he also tweeted, he's like, "I don't know if I'm old school, but I think players dissing someone on their looks or whatever."
He deleted it.
Did he delete? Oh, well. He's like, it's not a good look, which I mean, I agree with him, but I also don't know Simp and Crim's relationship.
Yeah.
But it's better than nothing, but like
it could be just friendly banter at the end of the day.
Bro, we need Crim to be the best. We need Crim to be the best team.
Yeah, Crim looking
everything
sorry
will be so
out
much
there talking shit. Like, dog, you win
either way, if it is actual beef, like, listen, man, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or even Pat. Like, me and Pat used to be toxic on cam. Like, we didn't care. Like, we need some of that. We need some action,
sitting here
bro.
Watching.
Listen, man, that wasn't to the players.
That was you. But I
was backing up my boys, man. The boys were getting
that's what I'm saying, Crim. No one told you to do that, Chris, and that's why it was so good. Like, that wasn't a thought. You weren't thinking, "Oh, I need to pull off some little fucking thing to get some fucking attention." You just did that shit, and that's just how it was. So I think that's what missing.
Wait, why did FaZe even why were they shooting Crim's body and saying you're horrible in the first place? Like, what even caused that?
Crim was probably talking shit in the pregame or something, like in the chat. Like,
but he did say, remember the post-game interview before they were playing FaZe? Crim said something about
he did.
Errors.
He did say something. He called him out in some way.
Yeah, he called him out. I don't know what it was exactly, but
like, I don't know. Like, he must have said something weak, because I know for sure that if I'm playing in the league and I'm talking shit to Simp and aBeZy, I'm not gonna have them tweeting me back, "You are horrible." That is like the fakest trash talk. Like, I want it to feel real. Like, obviously that wasn't real. Like, Simp and aBeZy don't, like, there's no way they take their, like, not aBeZy, but Simp here, I'm sorry. But like, there's no way Simp took his phone and said, "Yeah, I hate Porter. I want to say something about Crim right now. And you are horrible. This is the one." Yeah, tweet. Like, he clearly was just trolling. Like,
maybe they're all just trolling.
Yeah,
You know,
I-
maybe they're. I mean, I don't know.
They
it's
are
all,
trolling. They
it's
are.
all like a setup conspiracy in DMs. Like they're in a big group DM. Like, yo, this year, guys, we're gonna do that. Imagine.
We need some entertainment. We're not pushing this narrative. Simp hates Crim.
Yeah, he got real beef.
This is real beef. I think they might actually fight on main stage.
The angers I've seen Simp actually was when I tweeted him about a month ago about like the COD League and like the infrastructure of it. I'm like, dude, there's not going to be any tournaments for you to win if no one's making content. And he's like, I'd rather focus on being a dumb master. Like he got super mad.
I did see that.
I was like,
what?
Chris, like
what?
I basically said like the league needs to we need more content. Like I believe that the league needs a better game. It needs obviously better dev support, but we need people that have big audiences to be in the league, making content around the league to get more eyeballs on the league. Like,
Did you say a dungeon master?
No, a dub master. So like I got under his skin.
I don't know what that is.
Got mad.
What? Bro, I thought you said, yo, I thought you said dungeon. I thought you said dungeon master. I was like, what?
Simp and I got in a debate on Twitter, and I got under his skin. I know I did because he got really pissed off. Like he was angry at me. He was like, I'd rather be like a dub master, like a dub, like a W, like a dub, DUB. Like
Just a champion.
Yeah, like his
could have
final
just
word.
said champion.
Yeah.
But that's how he talks. Like that's the way he is. He's like, yo, I'd rather be a dub master than focus on this crap. Like, oh, you don't understand how it is, dude. Like I'm like, dude, I understand exactly how it is. Don't talk to me like I don't. Like just because you're a dub master and you're the king and you're one of the best, and I tell you all the time, doesn't mean I'm also not going to put you in your place when I have to. Like the league needs content. The league needs
Pat, I'm
content,
trying to be a dub master, Doug.
That term.
We gotta get rid of that, bro.
Doug, I'm back for challengers. Let's be
speaking of which,
that might be our name. That might be our name when we play the pro team. The
dub
dub
masters.
The dub
The
masters.
dub masters. Let's go.
Okay, but speaking of which, what's it like to what do you guys? What's your guys' take on this? Like how there's players that do stream, do content, stuff like that, and like balancing that like competitively. Like how does that? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? How does that affect you as a player?
It's
You guys answer that first.
well, so I have a whole thing, Chris. So it's good that you brought that up, because before I get into it, without switching the topic, I'm low key switching the topic back to what we were talking about, Chris. Do you guys think that like with aBeZy, Simp, and maybe even a little bit of Arcitys, not really Cell doesn't say anything to anyone, but do you think this is like they're just trying to make some sort of, like stories out of this season and out of COD? Or do you think that they're like finally starting to get tight because they are so successful, right? They're the best team the past couple years, but no matter what, and this relates to the whole content thing and competing, they're not as big as Scump. They don't have as much love as Scump. Or as much love as Crim. Or
I think they're
Clay.
delusional if they expect that.
No, I know. Yeah, which you're right. But like, I mean, Pat, just imagine if we were in their situation. I mean, you were basically in their shoes. Yeah,
but I never.
But nobody gave a fuck about you because Scump was around.
Wait, people care. But I had Nade Shot. Nade Shot was something I had to worry about. But listen,
there you go.
I think maybe partially.
You think they're like we're the best? Like, why are you not? I
think it's more that they probably feel that they don't have enough respect for what they've done. Because you got to think look at MC, right? He's always getting discredited for how he plays, right? Granted, he's disgusting, but every time, he's abusing a bug or the snaking shit, discredited. Simp and aBeZy, they're not looked at as like the probably what they feel like the best ever right now. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a level of respect, but I think they'd be delusional to anticipate being like the fan favorites in comparison to like Scump and Crim, because bro, those are like decade long.
You put it better than
brand.
I did. I to rephrase it, I meant the respect thing.
Now that I think about it, you're probably right, because I think when we saw the thing about the F8 stabilizer come around, I think aBeZy tweeted something. You kind of made a remark on Twitter. It's like, oh, this again, or something like that, or so
if Cellium did it,
or something. Yeah, he's basically pointing out how like everyone discredits Cellium for doing stuff, but no one is gonna say anything about this type of behavior from other players, and it's kind of getting old. I think they do, even though they are like one of the best, if not the best team in the game right now, or they have been the best team. It's like I think they still do have like a chip on their shoulders when it comes to their perception as like a team and player.
That's what it feels like. It does feel like that.
It definitely feels that way. And I think they're starting to kind of put their feelings out there a little bit more when it comes to kind of firing back about doubters or just people's opinions on them. Because I mean, it could definitely get old. And that whole villain persona, I guess, that they're taking on, it might not seem organic, but to them, it might be completely organic. Like they're kind of,
it might be their style, right? Like
might
that
just be their style. It just might be their way of talking smack. They could be coming.
Hey, I'm not going to hate on their swag. Like Pat said, it's better.
I don't know how anyone could. And regardless, I don't know how anyone could hate on what they've been doing in
the
last couple years.
Yeah, they've been the best.
They are the best. We'll see.
To answer your question though about the content, like Doug is right with what he was saying, and content is king at the end of the day. In anything.
If you like it,
no, I'm talking about anything, Pat. Let's not even just Call of Duty. Content in terms of entertainment is king.
Oh, okay, then yeah.
Right? That is the most important thing for any business, any sport, any esport, doesn't even matter. Now, even though I agree with Doug, I personally could never do it when I was a player, right? To be like a Scump or a nade shot, or an attach. Attach is another one. aBeZy, where when they were playing, they were competing, they were also consistently putting out content, whether it just be basic ass, this is all the best pros use this class, or, real life vlogs to be more personable, more relatable, build more fans, get a bigger audience. I could never do it. So I understand where like Simp is coming from, or, other players who don't do it. It's tough. Like you want to be the best at your craft. And some people, maybe they're better at balancing their day-to-day schedules. Or like you said, Pat, maybe some just don't, there's like athletes forever in the history of sports where some of them love the limelight.
Look at Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Like some of them love it. And then you got, athletes like Kawhi Leonard or whatever, where they don't even talk.
Well, look at Michael Jordan's he was the biggest athlete of all time. And he didn't want to, take on that
outlier,
role.
Though.
Right. But what I'm saying is like, and not so much on the success. The success is not what I'm comparing. I'm more so comparing just like some athletes just don't want to be in that situation. They don't want to be like the vlogs, the daily shit. Like that's getting into your personal life. And Doug, obviously I want your take on this because you've obviously been doing this a long time and doing both. My take is very small. I realized very early on that I just didn't like doing the content aspect. It was something I just truly didn't enjoy. When I did it, I saw success, and I mean the money was great, and obviously seeing like you building that brand going up. But at the end of the day, I just didn't enjoy it. It wasn't something I was passionate about. I wasn't like, man, I really want to wake up and film a fucking vlog on whatever I did that day, or I want to go and stream me playing the game outside of practice. Like sometimes I game off stream, and this is where I kind of disagree with something Nadeshot said. Nadeshot said like, anytime he ever plays gaming, any type of gaming at all, he has to turn his stream on. Like he has to. I think Nick Merckx was the same way. Like to me, that's not me at all. I would never enjoy that. Like I like just chilling, gaming, and not having to worry about answering questions in chat and doing this. And so my take is there's a place for it. And obviously, if you want to pursue this long term, you'll always benefit from doing content, no matter what. If that's your goal and that's your passion, and this is something you want to do and fall back on, get started right away. But if it's not something you're passionate about, I wouldn't say you shouldn't feel forced to do it. Like there should be no pressure. Do what you enjoy and do what you think is going to make you not only successful but happy. I mean, it's just that's always been my take, and that's why I never really got into streaming a lot, and doing YouTube and stuff like that. Even though there was so many people saying do it, like you have the villain personality, whatever. It's just not something that I enjoyed. So that's kind of my take.
Was trash. I'm kidding. I mean, no, this is the perfect question for Doug.
I'd be a million subs right now if I did. So yeah, Doug, you're obviously going to have a different take on all of us since you did this and lived this life. I want to,
once Doug goes, I want to add one more thing, Pat, that I think helps to your point.
Same.
So if you're not passionate about making content, you should never try to force making content. That's the first thing I'll say. But half of it is on the game. I think that a lot of these players could not be passionate about making content and still thrive as a quote unquote content creator. I don't think you need to be like I don't know, super high energy and making all these vlogs and showing everyone everything you're doing throughout the day to be a successful content creator. I think there's a lot of different ways you can be a successful content creator. It's not the stigma of, hey, what's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing this insane challenge and we're giving away $10,000 to this guy who does a back. Like,
there
no,
he goes.
My first cheeseburger. My first cheeseburger, baby.
Cheeseburger, whatever. But like, I look at a game like Fortnite, and you could just be like Sniper Bob 69 with like no camera ability at all in terms of like being a face on the camera and still grow a huge following because you're good at the game. And that's the thing that I really, I guess, empathize with some of the players. Like, I feel like players like Simp and aBeZy could simply just be huge social media figures simply because they're good at Call of Duty. If Call of Duty had a huge wide mainstream audience for the competitive game. So I think a lot of it is really on the developers to make a good game and have rank play, because if Simp and aBeZy stream rank play and they're winning in the league, so many fans are going to come in because they're on FaZe and they're winning in the league, and there's a lot of casual people playing Call of Duty who will see it. Now the problem that I have with the entire business of the CDL is that everything is determined basically off of these players' Twitter followers, right? Like, that's where the brand is. That's where most of these players have anything, is a Twitter following. And maybe YouTube following for some of them, but most of them don't. And then their Instagrams are like 2,000 followers, like their IRL friends.
Yeah, my Instagram sucks, by the way. Can we, people, everyone watching, /AchesPat. Give me some follows on Instagram. Mine is lacking.
There's a reason, Pat. There's a reason that
I need to get 10K so I can get verified, yo.
Instagram is very personal. Like, I just kind of like, I don't really like,
All right, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Getting more into like the details of it. If I'm a CDL starter, my contract, whether it's 100K, 50K, 200K, 300K, is going to be my number one priority over anything. So what does that mean? I need to be on time for my scrims. I need to go hard in my scrims. I need to perform in my matches. I think it puts a lot of mental stress on players so that when they try to tune down after scrimming or after matches, the last thing they're thinking about is doing anything that's going to take mental effort out of their brains. That's how I would feel if I was a player. But what I will say is that they need to do more. And if you want a bigger contract, if you want this league to thrive, you got to become a bigger personality. And you can't just hope that things will get better, because if we all operated under that same concept, then Nadeshot wouldn't be Nadeshot, and OpTic wouldn't be OpTic, and Scump wouldn't be Scump, and I wouldn't be me, and none of us would be what we are, right? Like, we need to have people making content in some way, especially if you're a player that's in the league and you're a starter and you have a secured contract, right? Like, obviously do what you have to do for the team, but be better and do more is all I'm saying.
I do agree that there is a time and place for that, but at the end of the day, you got to think about how these players got started, like Nadeshot and Scump and stuff like that. A lot of it came from love of the game. A lot of it came from, they were passionate about Call of Duty at one point. It's not like they just woke up, one day and are like, damn, I got to make videos. No, like, they did it because they enjoyed it and they pursued that career, and it just happened to blow up and stuff like that. When you're talking about well-developed veterans and players and stuff like that, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You know what I mean? Like, all these people are set in their ways, and I'm not saying that some of these people can't change, but at the end of the day, if you aren't passionate about making content, or if you're not passionate about the game because you don't feel like there is content there, or you don't enjoy playing the game outside of just practice and competing, what can you do? That, I don't think it falls on you to do something like that.
I have the answer for you.
What?
Take it away, Ian.
So with everything you guys said is 100% correct. Especially you, Doug, about, if you don't enjoy it, you don't force yourself to do it. Yeah, they could just, post YouTube videos of them frying in pubs or ranked play. No personality. You don't need to go the extra mile. But even if they don't want to do that, that's fine. I think the biggest issue, because we're talking about helping the COD League grow as a whole, right? To make it as successful as it possibly can be for not only the players that are playing right now, but hopefully we have a future 10 years down the line, right? Where players can still play professional Call of Duty. And I think the biggest thing is on the org shoulders. And I do think they're getting better this year. But when you look at it, right, besides 100T, which is LAT, and OpTic, before, I want to say, like midway last year, no other orgs were ever really putting out consistent content. And if they were putting out content, it was like very, very low quality.
It was bad.
Like,
just say it was bad.
Yeah, it was fucking trash. Like, you look at 0 to 100, or I forget, what's it called, the process with OpTic, like, bro, that's some shit that I could literally sit down and like a Netflix docu-series, I could watch it. Like the quality was that good. And, you know, maybe I'm a little biased, but like you could relate to the players, right? And the team, and you see the highs and lows, the storylines. Now, I do think this year, right, with Toronto, NYSL, with what is it called? Their thing, Pat?
No pressure.
No pressure.
Narrated by Zuma.
LAG as well. I know they have something releasing soon. So all these orgs need to have a budget to have good quality content and production value. But back to the players' point, all they need to do, in my opinion, Chris, is they need to fucking want to do these interviews. Don't do these interviews half-ass, right? Let their personality shine through. If there's a camera on you and it's behind the scenes and you're warming up and you're you know, cracking jokes with your teammates, like so many players and teams, they hear, oh, you got to come take photos, or you got to, you know, there's going to be a camera on you. I feel like they're just like, man, I don't want to do that. Like that shit's so whack. And they try to run from it, right? When it's not even just like on them personally, and you get paid all this money. If they just be authentic in those videos, which I think, you know, teams have. I really like NYSL's. OpTics is obviously always great. LAT's is always great. Toronto's is good. I'm excited for LAG's. And I don't even know if some of the other teams even post any of those. Minnesota's is like, okay. But regardless, they need to let their personality shine through those videos.
Yeah.
So fans of them, new and old fans, they can relate and maybe become fans of the players. Because if not, they only see Simp and aBeZy tweet Crim, yo, you're fat. You know, they don't see what is actually going on. Yeah. So I think that is the biggest thing. It just weighs on the orgs. Even if, you know, the players don't want to do it. If it's a team thing like that, where you don't have to do anything, just be yourself, literally. Act like the camera's not there. I think it'll help a lot moving forward.
Yeah, and I think it's a huge convo, right? It always will be. I think there was different levels to it, you know, back when we were starting and kind of how it progressed, the organic buildup of when COD was getting a lot of influx of eyes, and now I think it's a little bit harder now, right? Like it requires a little bit more effort to kind of, you know, with all the competition for games and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think you're totally right. So I guess I think what we should do is kind of keep an eye and come back to it in a later reverse sweep and kind of see how some of these teams' shows and episodes develop once we kind of get a better idea. But next week, boys, we got the stage 1 major. So everything that's happened the last few weeks, everything we've discussed, it's all coming to an end for stage 1. And yeah, we got some round 1 matchups. So I think we all have. Ian, you got the iPad. I think
I got
Doug.
yeah. I
okay,
got
so we're good. We all got our
we're gonna write them down right now.
Yeah. So let's go first one. We'll go FaZe versus Boston. Write down who you got and write a map count under it, and then on 3 we'll show it up.
Hold on, give me a second. The iPad booting up, baby.
No worries.
The iPad's booting up. Oh man, dude.
I'm ready.
FaZe versus Boston.
Yes, sir. On land, dog. Make sure you write your land predictions, not your online prediction.
Are we gonna 3, 2, 1 it, or what are we gonna do?
Yeah, we'll 3, 2, 1 when everyone's ready. I think
Okay.
Ian's.
Yeah, I'm good.
No, hold on. I'm doing something. Okay. I'm basically ready.
All right. Ian, you good?
Yeah.
All right, everybody good?
3, 2, 1 it. 3, 2, 1.
Oh yeah. 3 on after 1. So after I say 1, do it. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Bang.
Wait, is mine's right? It looks straight to y'all?
Yo, why is mine backwards, son?
Yeah,
No. It's right. It's right.
Oh, okay.
It's
right?
just backwards for it. Damn.
My lighting needs to be better, but I drew.
Yeah, I can't even see, Pat.
Oh, yo, you're writing logos? We couldn't just write FaZe?
No, boy, drew no logo.
You're drawing logos.
Listen, this is high quality production here. I'm putting in the
Okay.
extra.
So we had what? We had 2-3-0. Well, we all had FaZe.
Yeah, everyone had FaZe, I think.
I mean, they look like they look like Atlanta FaZe. Me and Chris have 3-0. Pat, you and Doug both had 3-1. You think Boston's going to take a map?
Yeah,
they're going to take S&D?
Yeah.
Or control. They could win the control.
I don't think they're going to win the control.
3.0.
So the reason I don't think they'll win the control is because FaZe is the higher seed, so they're going to be picking the control. So I think it's going to be FaZe's best control out of the two.
Probably Gavutu.
Maybe. So I do think they'll win the S&D. Boston's a solid S&D team, so I got faith in them. I wouldn't be surprised if FaZe win it though. So All right, next up we got OpTic versus Surge.
I know none of you guys are gonna say this.
Well, Doug's gone Seattle Surge.
Clearly.
OpTic versus Surge.
Oh,
What I got
fucked this
OpTic
letter
3-0.
up.
What are you talking about?
Y'all will never guess this.
Ready?
Wait,
ready?
hold up.
Yeah,
Is
you're
it-
writing slow. Yo, Chris, no
like
logos.
A logo, Chris. Like, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
Chris, no logos,
it's
bro.
hard. I'm a genius. I'm an
Let's
artist.
just write down their name, bro. Come on. Me and Doug are
I
done.
wrote it.
Quick.
I'm done. I'm
All
done.
right, I'm ready.
All
I'm ready. So I was
ready?
thinking about my guess. I'm not just going to half-ass it.
No worries. OpTic versus Surge. 3, 2, 1.
Fuck.
Damn.
What
You got 3-0?
Yeah, I got 3-0.
is that a
Damn.
3-0 or 3 square?
Yeah, it's just listen. I used my last 3-1. I made a 0.
You're an
You
idiot.
see that? But yeah. Wait. So
Wait,
you
so
both had
we have
OG
3
3-2.
OGs?
Yeah, but Doug took Surge 3-2. You and Chris took OpTic 3-2, and I took OpTic 3-0. So,
Listen,
so
I'll be honest. I might want to
OpTic
redo
3-0?
mine. I think I got OpTic 3-0 as well. I'll be honest,
Yeah.
but
3-0?
Seattle
Y'all
looks
both got a
Seattle
3-0?
looked good at the land though. Like
bro,
you can't just discredit them after one
I'm not-
week of bad matches.
Hold on. So, no, I'm not though. That's the thing, and I said this. I don't think Surge's wins were oppressive at all. They were 2 Game 5 round 11s, which I feel if the other team didn't troll, they should have lost. I'm not discrediting them online.
I mean,
I
you're
just-
right.
they-
You're right.
I think they should have went 1-4. I think they should have went 1-4. And the only map I can really see them winning is SND. But I don't know, man. OpTics look good. Like I think OpTic really turned it around. I think they're gonna be on LAN. I think everyone's gonna love this crowd that's gonna be gassing them the fuck up. And I think they're gonna play well. And honestly, I think Dashy's gonna have the best performance out of all of them. I think Dashy is gonna have not an MVP event, but like out of all of them, I think Dashy's gonna play the best.
And I mean, we have to take into account it's on LAN with the LAN environment. There's fans. There wasn't fans at the kickoff classic, right?
No, there were, and they were Seattle fans, by the way. There was like a lot of Seattle love at that tournament. Yo, Ian, there was a lot of Seattle love at that tournament.
Yeah. Well, regardless,
I love Pretty Boy Pred, man.
they haven't. He's a good-looking guy. They haven't played OpTic and felt what it's like. You know, you get pieced up by. I mean, you don't even get pieced up. Scump shoots your ass in the back. And it's,
People are going crazy.
So I think that takes something into it. And I don't know. I'm just with Pat. Realistically, when you look back at it, Surge hasn't had that good of wins.
It's not impressive, man.
They got some rough losses. So what's the next one, Pat? Reel it off.
We got Ravens, the London Royal Ravens against Los Angeles Guerrillas.
Ooh.
And keep in mind, currently LAG is the second best hardpoint team in the game. I didn't know that. That was kind of surprising to me that LAG was the second best hardpoint team in the game because they did have that rough start. So I'm ready when you guys are. Let me know.
I'm ready.
Trying to think of the map count here.
And remember, Doug wants you to know this is on LAN. This isn't online. Keep that in mind.
Damn, hold up. I wrote my answer too big.
I'm trying to think of the map count, man.
All right.
This is
I'm
tough.
ready.
I'm not sure. Good.
So everyone good?
Yeah.
Yep.
3, 2, 1. What the fuck? Stop
That-
throwing logos.
Yo, Chris, are you
wait.
an artist?
Wait,
That
you guys-
was pretty good.
Wait,
LA
y'all,
Wow, we all have it 3-1 except for Pat?
wait,
Yep.
y'all have LAG winning this 3-1?
Absolutely.
They beat them already once, and if we know anything about Lan and Slasher, Thanos, the GOAT, clearly, like versus unexperienced amateurs that have not, been on LAN. No, I'm not going to discredit
Bro,
those guys. They're playing
I
good.
think you guys got to give them more credit.
Bro, I get what I was one of the ones that brought them up as like, yo, they're hella good, but like LAG already beat them once, and that was online.
Yeah,
Where,
that was online.
Yeah, but we always talk about. Listen, man, I'm a slasher stand, man. That guy's a beast. He's
Listen,
your dad.
I agree with you, but listen, I don't know. I thought this London team was ass when I first saw it, and then I saw them play in these matches. Like after the kickoff, I was like, this team's ass, and then I saw them play their matches, bro. They're nasty. They are nasty, and they slay a lot.
They are good.
And-
No, they are.
And
Okay,
something.
they still lost to LAG.
Hold on. ASIM has literally been like 1.4, by the way, in these last like 3 LAG series. Like he's been world starring. I don't know if ASIM, like I think ASIM's good. I don't know if he can be a 1.4 in this series and be carrying, because right now him and Pierce are carrying Kyler and Huke. I don't know if that still happens on land.
Kyler and Huke. They're carrying-
Or my bad, Kyler
Yeah,
and or Huke and Slasher. Sorry. So yeah, I don't know. I think LAG could win this, but I think Ravens gonna pull an upset. I think Ravens are set for a decent little run here at this tournament.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good series, but come on.
You guys are just going veterans, right? Like, is that what you're kind of saying?
No,
Like they have LAN experience. That's what I'm looking
I'm
at Doug's
going off-
eyes, and Doug is
going
like
off of-
LAN experience. Slasher.
look,
Going off them beating them already.
And also on top of that, I need to
Wasn't
see if Nasty and
serious.
Gizmo both fry on LAN. I will be on the London bandwagon.
Hold on.
Nasty and Gizmo are frying, I will be on their bandwagon. I promise you.
Let me ask you a question, Chris. You're going off that head-to-head series, but who looked better overall in the entirety of stage 1? Who looked better, London or LAG?
Oh, London for sure.
So you're just putting all the weight in that one series?
Yes.
I mean, I mean, there. Look, you don't. It's not all just about LAN, right? LAN experience. But from what we've seen so far from the Kickoff Classic, that's the only LAN environment we've seen Gizmo Nasty in, right? We obviously all know Trey Zero. Afro had a little bit of it last year, and it has nothing to do, not saying they're online jokes. I don't know the servers because I believe they're out of North Carolina in these online matches.
Yeah.
And I understand that the Kickoff Classic, it was only one series, right? Everyone has bad series. There's what it is. It was single limb. So they played 3 maps and that was it. But they got pretty fucking bodied by Seattle at the Kickoff Classic. And I think no matter what, it takes time for quote unquote rookies to get comfortable. Some never do either. I mean, you look back at Modern Warfare, right? Shotzzy, when he first came in, his name was Botsy because he was, you know what I'm saying?
Because he got smoked at that Minnesota tournament.
No, yeah, I know. And obviously he's a little bit of a different situation because he was already
He had
a
LAN
Halo
experience,
champion.
yeah.
But I'm just saying, from what I've seen right now, it looks like Nasty, Gizmo, just London as a whole seems a lot more comfortable online.
Have you guys seen their interviews? The London interviews? Those guys think they're like the shit. They think no one can fuck with them gunfight wise. Like
I love it. I love it.
They must be bodying people in scrims to have that level of confidence.
That's good. I love that. I love that energy. Just show it to me on LAN and I'll be your biggest fan. That's all I'll say.
All right, we'll come back when London beats LAG 3-1, and we'll make sure we'll get a screenshot of the prediction sheet when you guys all had LAG and I had London, and I'll bring it up. I'll make sure I bring it up. So,
Okay.
our next series is Thieves versus the Ultra. I think this is going to be an insane match. I hope this is like the primetime marquee match of the night, whatever. Like, because I think this is going to be a banger of a series. What's your predictions? Everybody ready? Let me know.
I already wrote mine down. I
got mine.
Hold up,
Alrighty.
hold up. I got to think long and hard about this one.
Okay, yeah. No bias. Yeah, no bias.
I'm never that.
Okay.
I'm ready. Also, by the way, I don't know if you guys noticed
I'm
this,
ready.
but this is an eraser. I've been erasing with like
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Wait, I was using my
No,
finger.
dude.
Nah, use the tip of
The
the
top
marker.
of this is a eraser.
Ah, okay.
All right.
I'm ready.
You ready? 3, 2, 1.
My lighting is so bad.
And
Mine is clean.
I'm the only one who has Toronto.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude,
LA,
Chris,
baby.
you're
Look at
actually,
that
Chris is
logo.
a good ass draw. What the hell? Look,
Anyways,
This match is going to be tough. I think this is literally a coin flip.
I agree with you, Pat. I agree with you. And I don't know. So this is where I'm confused about Toronto. I'm about to go off on a little bit of a tangent. We know how good they were last year, right? They were the second best team. They're the only team that could really pound for pound go up against Atlanta FaZe. Going in to the Kickoff Classic in Vanguard, not only did I hear from Marky B, but also other players, other coaches around the league, that Toronto was not that good online. Like going into it, they were not. Then they go to the Kickoff Classic, they win the whole damn thing. And they look good. Now it is a kickoff classic. You take it with a grain of salt because single limb, whatever. There were a lot of issues, blah, blah, blah. And then when I've been watching their series, similar to a lot of the other teams that we talked about, they really don't have good wins. I mean, they do. So their 2 wins, their 2 series wins are 3-0s. So, I mean, I guess you would say that is a dominant win, but it's versus LAG and Florida, right? Those 2 teams are nowhere near contenders, at least for right now. And they got a 2-3 loss to Seattle, a 3-0 loss to Texas. We obviously all know that, and a 3-1 loss to LAT. And I just feel like maybe this Toronto team, not saying that they're bad, but I just think they're not going to be as good as they were last year. So
that's funny because I got them as the 2022 world champions.
You tripping. You tripping, but okay. I don't know. It could go either way.
Yeah. So
that's
did we
my
all
early
have,
take. My early
we all
take.
have 3-2?
I had 3-1 LAT.
I had 3-2.
Okay,
I do
and
think
then-
it could be a coin flip series.
And Doug, you had Ultra 3-2, right?
Yeah, I think they're icy in S&D. I think they got it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they are IC and S&D, but
I seen it. Have y'all? What you doing? What?
no, they are.
This
As
is
a
not
team,
cold.
listen, as a collective though, they're IC and Search. But listen,
It's
I'm
2-4.
taking Thieves. I think the big thing here, the big takeaway, is Thieves are just too dominant at hardpoint, man. Like if they're 13-3 since the season started, 9-1 in stage 1 or 8-2, whatever it is, like if they're going into a series almost guaranteed to win 2 hardpoints, like you're just tough to beat, period. And I think going off their last series when they matched up this weekend, you know, Ultra smoked them on that Bocage, but I have no idea why Thieves was picking Bocage to begin with versus Ultra anyway.
They did get potty.
Yeah, but then the rest of the maps, it was like Thieves kind of took it clear cut. The reason I'm picking Thieves 3-2 is because if you go back to the Kickoff Classic, I think Thieves should have beat Ultra at it, right? They threw that game 4 Tuscan hardpoint bad, and that would have been a 3-1 Thieves. So anyway, I think we all got good prediction. I think that's going to be the best match regardless of that whole day. But I do want to know, last kind of thing, your guys' predictions on who's going to take it all. Who do you guys got winning the whole tournament? So doesn't matter of the matchups, the finals, just the whole tournament. Who's going to walk away as champions of Major 1?
Wait, I'm actually going to change mine right now.
Oh, you had somebody written down?
I did have somebody written down, but I'm changing it as we speak.
Interesting. What's the reason for your change? Without giving away who it is.
I'll show you. You'll see.
Okay. All right, so listen, we're gonna show all at the same time. We'll do 3, 2, 1 again, and then we'll just go in order. So Doug, Ian, Chris, me, of why you guys think they'll win. All right, so just like 1, 2 sentences of why you think they're gonna
Wait, so are we all showing it, or is Doug showing
yeah,
his?
let's all show it at the same time, and then Doug will just
Okay.
explain, then you'll explain. All right, ready?
All right, are we ready?
Chris, you good? Picasso
Yeah.
over here, whose logo you drawing?
Yo, he about to have every CDL logo on that damn board.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Oh, Doug's
What?
tripping.
Wait. We got 3 LAs? Thieves?
Damn. My boy. Doug,
Wow.
Okay, Doug. I don't even want to hear Doug's bullshit.
Yeah,
Okay.
Doug, give us one sentence of your bullshit story of why NYSL 0-9 Hardpoint is taking this event.
Royalty keeps his roster spot. Crimsix MVP. The trash talking's back. Let's go, New York. The greatest
Dude, I
loser bracket
fucking
run
hate
of all time, man. Let's go.
Oh my God. Okay, Doug.
Wow.
Doug's an
Okay.
entertainer.
No, will this
But,
be the first event win without a team winning a hardpoint? They're gonna 2-3-5 every series.
That would be comedy. Okay. Not biased, by the way. I do have LAT winning. I think just there's a mix of a couple of things. We've already touched on a lot. They look like the best hardpoint team in the game right now. Okay. And that is always something to, I guess, be intimidated by if you're going up against a team where, realistically, you could lose both hardpoints in the series, right? And when you're a dominant hardpoint team, it's not just like one map you're really good at. Your map pool is so deep and you're like dominant at multiple maps. Even like the maps you're not that good at, you're better than the team you're going up against. So no matter what, they're going to have an advantage when it comes to the hardpoint vetoes. Their control, I think, has gotten better because the biggest thing for me was their S&D and control. Their hardpoint dominant, S&D control, very hit or miss. I think they've made improvements in both of those. You know, just recently they did beat Toronto in the S&D after they got bodied on Bouquet's hardpoint in map 1. But also, just I have their maps up, and you probably seen like Drazah and Kenny tweet about it. Dude, they have maps that they're good at just across the board. Like Gavutu in general, hardpoint and control, they haven't lost a map.
They don't have many
Gavutu.
weaknesses, right? As a team,
they like their Achilles heel is going to be S&D, I think, at this tournament, because there's a lot of really good S&D teams, a lot of teams that are better than them. And then when you look at like the FaZes and the Londons and the other top teams so far, they might be a little bit more well-rounded, but LAT can come out, smack these teams in their face map 1, and then I'm confident that they'll have the upper hand in the series, and they'll win a lot of these series 3-1.
Chris, what do you think?
And last thing, because I know y'all been seeing it, the vibes just look high.
Yeah, they do.
Like, dude, whenever I go to the compound, and I do have, I guess, kind of a different, perspective, because I see them a lot more than you guys or just anyone else, bro, they love playing together. Like, they love playing together. When I listen to how they go about what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong, it's great. Like, they're all homies, and they just genuinely look like they're having a good time. I think that's one of the most important things, especially when you're kind of riding this high. They know that people are looking at them like they're a contender, and they're not just trying to have this momentum just stop at Major 1. So I think they're due for one.
Yeah.
All right, Chris. Well, after Ian's 17-page essay at the LA Thieves, what do you think? What you got?
I'm in the same boat. I think LAT, is in a really good spot. They look dominant in hardpoint. Although, if you're looking at this from a purely statistics standpoint and what you're looking at from the results of the league right now, it'd be kind of boring to just say FaZe, because it's FaZe. But I do think that LA Thieves have a real shot at it, man. This is the best LA Thieves roster we've seen in the league so far, and they've been playing really good in hardpoint. I think, like Ian said, if you start those series up 1-0, especially if you have like a dominant hardpoint win, that's going to throw a lot of teams off that are weaker. So it's going to carry them pretty far in the tournament if they continue to play the way they have been, man. I could definitely see them in the finals. I could definitely see them winning the whole thing. Just really hoping they make it far, man, because they look great.
Chris got away with words. So
2 things for me, real simple. I think this is a really tough matchup for FaZe, and I think it comes down to map pool. I think FaZe have kind of experimented playing a little bit of Gavitu, and I don't think you can kind of put Thieves on Gavitu, right? I think they'll bully FaZe on that map.
I'd be surprised. Sorry to cut you off, but I'd be surprised if teams play them on Gavitu. It's like an auto veto.
Yeah. Well, and so the only weakness I see for Thieves, and they're not bad at it, but if they just avoid Bocage this tournament until they can kind of really, really figure that out, they're looking good in map pool wise. They're deep. My second point is their comms. That listening that we kind of touched on briefly earlier, man, like vibe wise and just comms, they had the best comms I've heard of any team so far this game. They just looked on point. They were tracking every player, and they were talking to each other, like feeding every piece of information they could need. So that's my 2 big things for Thieves. And they did give me a nice little merch drop. That's not why I'm picking them, but shout out 100 Thieves. So yeah, I'm thinking Thieves for Major 1. Looks like a lot of us are. Doug went off the deep end picking NYSL. I think he misunderstood the question, and I thought I asked for 12th. But yeah, I mean, another great episode for the reverse sweep. And yeah, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure remember, hit the comments down below, like the video, and ask us questions you got for next week, because we're going to come back another episode. We'll recap this one and get into the next matches, because I think they happen really fast, guys. It's like people come home and then the following weekend they're back at it. So yeah, we're having a blast here. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm gonna see you fucking next time.